Hello, friends. Welcome to Level Up with Debbie Neal. I am your host. There is nowhere I would rather be than right here, right now with you. This podcast is all about leveling up in all aspects of our lives. Thank you for being here. I am so grateful. I'm excited to be on this journey with you. Together, we are leveling up. You ready? Welcome back, friends. I'm so happy you're here. You are tuning in to Level Up with Debbie Neal. And you know what I love about the time that we are spending together? This is about you not playing small. This is about you not holding back. And it is about rising to the next level of who you are meant to be. And if you are here, every single one of you know that there's more inside of you. Like you're tuning into this particular podcast for a reason. You feel it, you know it. It's that pull, it's that whisper that says you were absolutely made for more. So today, what we're going to be talking about is living a limitless life. So we're going to be talking about shedding every single limitation you've been conditioned to believe. Because every one of us, and I say this on almost every single podcast, we were born limitless. Like you came into this world with no limits. So what happens, the limits came later and they come from fear. They come from experiences. You know, maybe you experience a failure in business. Maybe you experienced a heartache. Maybe you experienced setting a goal and didn't achieve it. And it's like that. What if it happens again? What if it happens again? What if it happens again? You know, it's limits that came from other people's opinions. So we're going to be talking about how to shed those limitations. We're going to talk about how to feel the energy of your next level before it happens, because feelings, again, we talk about that all the time. We could say words, but how we feel is actually our truth. And we're going to be talking about how to become unstoppable. And unstoppable starting right now, not someday, not when the timing is right, but right now. So we want to start with understanding limitations. And like, this is something that's really powerful. And I want you to hear me when I say this. Limitations aren't real. They're not real. Sometimes we believe that they're real, and that makes it real in our reality. But they are not physical walls. They're thoughts, they're beliefs, they're stories. And somewhere along the way, we began collecting limits like souvenirs. Like we're packing them up and we're going on vacation. We were told, be realistic. We were told, don't get your hopes up. We were told, that's just not for people like us. We were told, most people don't make it to the top. And what happens is, without even realizing it, we start building invisible fences around what we believed was possible. So we're kind of keeping all of those dreams at bay. But here's the truth. Every limitation that you are holding on to right now is a learned belief. And the great thing is we can unlearn this. It's somebody else's version of what's possible. And you've been living inside of that, thinking it's your truth. And so when we talk about living limitless, that starts with a decision. And that decision, you know, you hear decision over and over and over and over again in business, but that particular decision is to stop believing every thought that tells you you can't. You have that ability to say, no, that's not truth. That's no longer my truth. You can catch yourself saying these things. You are not here to fit into the box of expectation. You are here to expand it. And here's what I want you to hear me say. Limitations live in your mind, not in your reality. So when it does live in our mind, we create our reality. So how do we live a limitless life? It's reprogramming what we feed our mind and hold in our mind. The moment you start questioning your limits, they begin to dissolve. Like, is that true? Is that really true? When you understand that you were born limitless, you realize that your potential doesn't need to be earned. It's not coming with a title or an accolade or an income. Your potential's inside of you. It's already there. Your only job is to remove the layers of doubt that have covered it up. And so we want to shed these limitations. So how do we start shedding the limits? And it's a process. It's not like you're going to wake up one day, plug in your coffee, and have absolutely no limits. It's an ongoing journey. Okay. And it's a process and it's powerful. So I'm going to go over 3 foundational steps. Okay. But I want you to go deep into what they feel like. I'm going to say them, but I want you to what do these feel like? Not just what they look like. Okay. So number 1 is awareness. So what I want you to do when we talk about awareness is start catching yourself in the act of limitation. So every time you say, I can't, every time you say, I'm behind my goal, every time you say, I don't have time, every time you say, what if I don't, meet my goal? Every time you say, I'm not ready, every time you say, I'm afraid or I'm not good enough, I want you to pause. I want you to pause and be like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. I'm going to pause. And then you're going to ask yourself, whose voice is this? Who is feeding me this nonsense? Because most of the time, it's not yours. It's an echo of your past. Okay. And that's it's an echo of your past, of your environment, or of people who didn't believe it was possible for them. So let's just sit on this for a minute, right? So if we talk about your past, maybe you've set a big goal at one point and didn't hit it. Maybe you've achieved your goal and didn't stay there. And so what happens is that experience is saying danger, 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 danger. You either are going to put in all that effort and it's not going to happen again, or you might get there and you might not stay there. And so what happens is it's that voice inside of your head saying, don't do it, right? Or of people who didn't believe it was possible for them. Like, I remember when I started my business. And people were like, oh my gosh, I know a person who did that, or I know this person, or they didn't do well. And I could have took those. I remember I started my business on Long Island and I heard, it didn't work here. It didn't work here. And I could have held on to that and it allowed it to become a limit. But instead I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to take that on to be truth. I am going to build it here. So when you become aware of the moment that you shrink, that's when you start to expand. So when you say that or start to believe something and then you notice yourself pull back, that's when you want to interject and start to expand. So number 2, it's about rewriting the story. So we could be aware, that's what we just talked about, but awareness alone is not enough. Like I could be aware that I'm saying a limitation, but now once I say, oh my gosh, I'm doing this, you have to choose a new story. So when your mind is saying, I'm not qualified, you want to say, like, I am powerful. I am totally qualified. When it says, this is new, I don't know if we could do it, I've never done this before, you want to rewrite this and say, I'm so excited. I am growing and expanding into the next version of myself. So your words are commands to your subconscious. Your words. So they either are reinforcing your limits of I can't, I'm not ready, what if it doesn't happen, right? You're either reinforcing your limits or you're breaking them down with the new story. So speak as if the version of you that's already living limitless is in control, because the reality is they are. That version of you is in control. So number 3, aligned action. So we could be aware, we could be knowledgeable, but that doesn't mean anything without movement. We become limitless not by thinking differently, but by acting differently. So we want to be aware of the thought, we want to rewrite the story, and then we want to act accordingly. Every time you take a bold step towards your next level, even when you're scared, you prove to yourself that you are bigger than your fear, because you know what? Courage creates evidence, and evidence builds belief, and belief creates momentum. And then momentum When you're in a state of momentum, which comes from consistency, you become unstoppable. When we were young, we used to dream of being anything, an astronaut, the president, a prince, princess. But as you get older, your dreams change, focusing less on running the world and more on how you can take your skills and ideas and turn them into something real. Instead of dreaming of going to space or owning a castle, maybe you start dreaming of owning your own business. You'll need a website, a payment plan, a logo, and a way to advertise to new customers. It can all be overwhelming and confusing, but thankfully, that is where today's sponsor, Shopify, comes in. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. What if people haven't heard about my brand? Shopify helps you find your customers with easy to run email and social media campaigns. And what if I get stuck? Shopify is always around to share advice with their award-winning 24/7 customer service. Turn those dreams into and give them the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and get selling today at shopify.com/level up. Go to shopify.com/level up. Shopify.com/level up. Let's talk for a minute about the power of our feelings. Like, we don't even, I forget from time to time how powerful my feelings are, because this is where so many people miss it. You don't create a limitless life by thinking your way there. You don't create it by saying affirmations without emotion. Like, I remember, and I've said this story many times, like when I started my business, I would say over and over again, I am, with my title, and I am doing this. And I, for really the first few hundred times it came out of my mouth, I felt like a fraud. But then the more I said it, I started to take on that belief. So you don't create limitless living by just saying affirmations. It's saying affirmations with feeling. You create it by feeling your way there. You must become emotionally aligned with the version of yourself who already has what you desire. So I want you to really ask yourself, how would you feel if you've already met your financial goals? Like whatever your monthly income is goal, your yearly income, whatever your goal is to have in the bank, whatever your goal is to have in retirement, whatever your goal is to be giving it to people that are less fortunate. If you had that right now, how would you feel? How would you walk into a room? How would you speak? How would you treat people? How would you feel when an unexpected bill arrived in the mail? Like if you were already at feeling like you've met your financial goal. Because here's the thing, when you truly believe you are abundant, you don't panic when a bill comes in. You bless it. Like you pay it with gratitude because you know you have plenty and there's more on the way. And so when you truly believe you are loved, you don't chase validation, right? You don't get insecure at the slightest thing in a relationship because you already know you're solid. You embody confidence and compassion. When you truly believe you're successful, like you don't wait to celebrate. You show up like a leader now. And so your emotions are energy, and energy is always creating. So the fastest way to live a limitless life is to feel now what you think you're going to feel then. So it's like kind of starting at the finished line. You don't wait to be successful to feel successful. You feel successful, and then what happens is that energy attracts success, right? Like if you're feeling down or scarcity and nobody wants to join you and your business is not thriving, do you think in that energy that you're going to have incredible leaders full of life and, energy and vision join your team? No. Like it's basically impossible for a really positive person to join a really negative person. And so you want to feel successful before you're even there. And that's not just mindset work. It's quantum creation. You're actually shifting your state of being from limited to limitless. So here's your challenge. I want you to really watch how you react to things starting today. Because here's what's really powerful. Your reactions reveal your limits. If something doesn't go your way, do you spiral into negativity and frustration, or do you just see it as part of it, right? If you get a financial setback, do you shrink and panic? Or do you say, like, this is so temporary. I'm totally in control. I'm blessed. I have plenty and I'm in a constant state of flow. And so that's how you know the level of your limits. Your feelings are your compass. They will always tell you if you're living from fear or freedom. And so when we think about becoming unstoppable, okay, so we want to talk about what happens when we combine limitless thinking with limitless feeling, because that's the difference. Like we could think, but it's actually now feeling. When we combine the two, that's when we become unstoppable. Not because life is going to get easy, but what happens now is you're aligned. You're aligned. You are aligned with your higher self. Like fear just loses its grip. Challenges don't break you. What happens now in a challenge is they build you. Unstoppable people still face rejection. They still face failure. They still face setbacks, but they don't identify with them. They know that every obstacle is just a test of alignment. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop waiting for approval. You stop waiting for proof, and you start being the proof. You show up as your future self before the results appear. And that's the secret. It's the energy of an inevitability. I'm saying it wrong. It's the energy of, it's like inevitable. Okay. The energy of inevitability. Okay. You guys know what I'm saying. Okay. So when you know who you are, when you feel that reality in your body, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. And so I want you to remember this. Your level of success will not come from just doing more, right? But having an underlining belief of limit. It will come from being more, from feeling more, from becoming the person who no longer doubts his or her power. Because the goal is to develop a limitless mindset. And living limitless, I want you to know you have the power. It's a daily choice. It's a way of thinking, yes. But more importantly, it's a way of being. It's waking up and saying, I am limitless. I am abundance. I am capable of anything I decide. It's holding that energy through the challenges. It's choosing faith when fear tries to creep in. It's celebrating every little win as evidence that your new reality is unfolding. Because here's the truth. You can't wait to feel worthy after you hit your goals. You feel worthy first. And that's what calls your goals into your reality. You can't wait to feel abundant after you get wealthy. You feel abundant now. You live abundant now. You embody it now. And when you do, life rises to meet that energy. Living limitless starts today, not when the conditions are perfect, but when your decision is firm. So today, I want you to draw your line in the sand. I want you to decide from this moment on that you're done living within limits that were never yours to begin with. You are not waiting for permission. You are not waiting for proof. You are creating the proof with how you think, with how you speak, with how you feel, and how you show up. Because when you live as if you are already the person you're becoming, the world has no choice but to catch up. You are limitless, you are unstoppable, and your time is right now. right now. So friends, if you love this episode, if it hits something inside of you, share it, tag it, let me know the moment you decide to become limitless. I love connecting with every single one of you. I am actually Debbie. Who am I on Instagram? Debbie_Neal, I believe. Wow, I guess I should know that by heart. And remember, every time you level up, you're giving other people permission to do the same things. Love you, friends. Talk to you next week.